Great. So the topic of the conversation today is basically going to, the new talent equation, and I think what we are talking through is returning to the post-pandemic workplace. And I guess it's been beaten to death as to what's going to happen and how it's going to happen, and all of us are waiting for uh, uh, you know, uh, the coming of the vaccine, as they say. But we still don't know what that means for many of us. And if we had to take it to the work 2.0 sort of new normal equation, what are your views on the sort of new work environment that we are seeing today?
Well, I think most of us have said that last year has been about a lot of realization, right? Personally, as well as for the organizations. I think some of the notions which we had in our head, all of us had a desire to give work from home, but we have a lot of apprehensions and inhibitions about it. I think one of the things which pandemic did is it cleared some of those inhibitions. Some of those pilots which we were running at a very small scale, we had to suddenly do it by force at a massive scale. And we got those results, right? And all of us now realize that some of these are going to be new realities. The work from home perhaps is going to be new realities, and it will not be talked as add-ons or any additional thing which you're doing for employee. It will become a new normal. So I think in light of those, many of our organization are also trying to think through to say how should we get back to, if not all, perhaps 25% or 30% employees should come back to office if they wish to. And I think that is one thing which will come as post-pandemic trend is where a lot of it will be driven by the desires of employees.
Mhm.
Right. The whole aspects of employee experience is not going to be boxed around technology and the tools and the features, but it is also about how the whole structure and the treatment of employee is going to be meted. It's not only about employee experience should not be boxed only about what tool are you releasing for the employee, but it also about the whole self of employee, right? His physical well-being, his financial well-being, his mental well-being. And I think that is one thing which has changed now. Earlier, when we used to talk about some of these things, we were only talked about certain section of it, right? When we talk about experience, we automation, technology, all of that. But now, when we talk about experience, we are also considering these aspects, financial aspects, mental aspects, health aspects, etc. So I think these are some of the things and which are still early trends, but I think if the last year has been about reflection and introspection, this year is definitely going to be about action for sure. Because we all of us have done our thinking, we have done our crystal balling. Now we'll get going and do some of those things which we have been thinking about for last quarter or more than a quarter now.
Absolutely. And, honestly, to give you more credit than you're taking, I think one of the things that I've seen also through the lens of HCL is just the fast pace that pathway to not only buck the trends but to set the pace. So one of the things, and I want to take this segue, and you have been part of the employee first sort of journey, and one of the first companies that did it, at least from an India-centered standpoint, where you put the employee first in the middle of everything. And this was like what, 15 years ago. So when you look at that journey and you look at what that means to you, thinking of it, I think you reflected upon it being through technology or the process automation or a new tool that you'd give an employee. But today, based on your experience over the last 9 months, it's not about the tool or the process. It's more about the engagement, the experience that you're developing for them, and what are you catering to ensure that productivity is being achieved for the company as well as the employee, right? So I think it's in the center of
Yeah.
that. And you highlight very quickly the trends that you're seeing through the lens that HCL has specifically, but more importantly from your lens, because I know you speak very widely on employee engagement. How do you see, the employee experience and employee engagement model fitting into, say, a hybrid virtual work model? You see a lot of that change entered?
Yeah, I think, yeah. So many companies have come forth and said that, Arjun, and and I'm talking about the large corporations who have come forth and said that we are not going to be, we'll never get back to the pre-COVID kind of work engagement where, 90% of 95% plus of workforce are going to be, in the office. Most of them have said that it's going to be hybrid model because we realize that, it works